Welcome back, guys. We are about to get very comfortable and relaxed. I have on my woolly socks, I have on my big woolly jumper, and I urge you to do exactly the same thing. Get comfortable. We're going into a yin practice that's going to open up the back line of the body. In terms of props, I would love for you to have a block. It may well be little kind of couch cushions. They can often be a good alternative. It may be big downy pillows as an alternative to a bolster, but a bolster if you have one, and everyone should have a blanket or two. So if you don't have any of that stuff with you, go and grab it now, pause the video, and then we'll meet back when you're set up with your props. For those of you that are ready to go, we're coming in with a block first up. Okay, this block is going to be situated just at the back of the shoulder blades. So what that's going to do as I lie down is it's going to give a nice little organic lift up through my heart space. I may want to place another blanket, a rolled up blanket at the back of my head, or another block if it feels too much on my neck to have a lift through the heart and then have my head dropped back. So you'll be able to sense that in your body. Remember, you want to be able to find the soft edge in yin. It's not about trying and reaching and grasping for something, but rather being able to sustain something comfortably. So there will be moments of discomfort, but as we set it up, we want to be able to find a place to stay. So block at the back of your heart. I have a timer here, guys. So if you see me leaning over to touch something, it's a timer. I'm not checking my Instagram. Come on down. Finding that opening at the back of the heart. Arms can come out wide if you like, or you can rest your legs long. You could also bend your knees. You could also bring the soles of your feet together, let the knees drop wide. Choose what it is that you need. Feel the body heavy. This means that the body is solid. From the feet that are dropping out to the weight of the calves, the shins, the knees, the thighs, the hamstrings. The hips and the pelvis are relaxed down to the mat. Notice if the belly is receptive to the breath. Can you feel it even ever so faintly, rising and falling? Are you aware of the expansion and the opening through the chest? Can you feel the shoulders draping down to the mat and that opening from shoulders to fingertips? Soft through the back of the hands as they rest. Each muscle of the face. Space between the eyebrows. The jaw becoming slack. Even the teeth softening and the root of the tongue falling to the roof of the mouth. It's like someone has poured warm wax all over your body. And moment by moment, it's just melting down to the mat. There's no part of you that has to engage or fix anything, change anything. The body is doing its own work. It just requires an open mind. Just another 4 breaths here. To come out here, guys, begin by bending the knees if they're not already, so the soles of the feet plant down. Very gently, super organically, roll over to one side. Belly is soft, face is soft. Use the free hand to remove the block. Come back down to rebound, a few breaths here. Rebound is like a mini shavasana, so the body is relaxed, palms are open, eyes are closed. You might receive feedback here, stronger or more constant than when you're in the pose. That's okay. That's what this time is for. If there's a desire to fix something, see if you can just stay with it and ride it out without moving the body. Notice how everything passes. Nothing is permanent. Okay, bend the knees, guys. And you can roll over to one side and take a few breaths if that's what feels good for you. But I know some other people prefer to come straight up and just make it a smooth transition through. So for the second part of that pose, it's just a differentiation in the position of the block. So the block now, before it was at the back of the shoulder blades, now it goes with the rim of the block just underneath the shoulder blades. So we're more opening up into the thoracic spine, the middle back. So you can place it here while you're sitting up, and it makes it a little bit easier to know where it goes as you come down. You'll find that little hinge point at the back of the shoulder blades. Remember, if it feels good to have something underneath the back of the head, go for it. And really navigate where you would like to place your legs and your feet and how it feels best for the body. Not only best, but most supportive. That's what we're looking for here. Your yin is a support system, not only to your physical body, but I find it to be the most important support system for my mental body, for my mental health. And that requires me to be able to listen and to drop in. And here I like to focus my breath into what I call the gills of the body, so the sides of the body. So maybe the breath isn't so ever present in the belly or in the chest. Think about the sides of the body swelling as you breathe in and hollowing as you exhale. Let that be a point of focus for you to constantly return to. Another 4 breaths here. Once you've evened out that last exhale, again, bend the knees if they weren't. Softly coax yourself over to the side. Remove the block, the prop. Lie back down gently. Now, because of where the block was there, I like to place my hands to my lower belly. It creates a sense of warmth and support. Okay, let's bend the knees. Now, if you don't want to roll over to one side here, it's okay. We're bringing the block in underneath this sacrum, so the very end of the spine. If you'd like to come up, it's no problem at all. I'm going to show you from lying down on my back. So from where I am, I press to the feet, lift my hips. Now the block is going on the lowest edge, okay? So underneath the sacrum, you could also use a bolster here if you prefer. If you've got a block, like a cork block with those strong defined edges, then I might recommend that you place a blanket or even a jumper just over the block, just to take away those firm edges. Now from here, might be extending the legs. Maybe if that feels okay for the hip flexors, might keep the knees bent. Again, you might bring the soles of the feet together, knees drop wide. Take the arms either long or out or hands to the belly. And it's okay if you begin with the legs extended and then at some point you think, you know what, my body is resisting this a little bit and I can feel my belly tensing or my jaw clenching. And that's just your body speaking back to you as that feedback system. So if you feel that, you can rebend the knees. In the first moments of the pose, just check in. Where could I soften? Where could I drop my weight? What areas of the body could I really give myself over to this pose? We've just passed the halfway point of the pose, and I share with you that information because It's just a little check-in point to notice what thoughts you're feeding and to notice how that cycle of thoughts is affecting the physicality. There's an interconnectedness between our skins that we become very aware of in yoga. And what we're thinking about, where we're focusing our energy, and what energy that we're feeding into. Is going to be replicated by the physical body. If we're thinking about something that makes us tense and sends stress signals to the body, then we're taking ourselves out of that rest and digest, and we'll feel the body preparing for fight or for flight. Because we have this time to really sit in the poses and simmer in the sensations. We can choose not to react, but to respond. So maybe catching yourself in that moment, noticing, making a different choice. And let's take a last big breath in and out. So legs are extended, guys. Soles of the feet slowly, one at a time. Notice how the back body responds. And then press the feet, just lift the hips ever so slightly. Just enough to slide that prop out. And gently come down to rebound. Now, if you've got tenderness growing in your lower back, you do not have to extend your legs. So only extend your legs if it feels nourishing and you're able to relax here. Okay, let's move out of our rebound and support ourselves to roll to one side. And to rise up. Beautiful, guys. So here, we come into our butterfly. Now, I like to use my blanket here. It could be a block, but a blanket will probably be sufficient if that's what you have. So, folded up blanket so that it has a little bit of height. So you could even fold it again if you like. Pop yourself up on the edge of the blanket. So there's a little forward tilt occurring through the hips and through the pelvis. Soles of the feet come together, knees drop wide, but then look at your legs and create a slightly wider diamond, okay? If the knees lift, don't concern yourself with it. You could, which is what I'm going to do, place a bolster underneath your knees. And what this does is it supports the legs, but it also supports you in the forward fold. Yeah, if that's not working for you and your back body isn't so responsive to that, bolster or big pillow, hugging it in towards you, or resting your forehead on it. If you don't want to use the bolster, it might be a block here or just no prop at all. Okay, so read your body for a couple of moments. Notice how you're feeling, take it all into consideration, and then start to build the pose from there. Remember, you're looking for that soft edge. So it's okay to have the head unsupported and just hanging in space, and it's also okay for you to have support for the head and to be resting the forehead down to something. And just breathing into the architecture of the back body. So from the tailbone, right through to the crown of the head, from the right lung to the left lung, there's a huge expanse of skin, of body. And we have the ability to breathe into all of that, to spread energy, life force, breath. Just allowing the body to almost cocoon itself. And what you end up with is this beautiful little echo of your own breath. It's as if you're creating and cultivating your own little world. And that's your focus. That's where your attention lies. Life can be going on outside. You can be aware of it. You can be hearing snippets of conversation or of apartment living. And yet we choose to stay. To give ourselves our attention, to give ourselves our focus. Choose to stay soft. And we just keep returning to that choice within the folds of breath, within the minutes of the pose. Within the swift shifts in sensation. Good, guys. Last big breath in. Full breath out. Now take your time here rising up. So I like to plant my fingertips down on the bolster or the mat and just slowly guide myself up so that my head is the very last point to stack on top of my heart. A lot of people notice feedback here, and it's okay once you find that line of the spine again. When you're ready, it doesn't have to be straight away. You'll make your way down to rebound. If you are someone that has the bolster underneath the knees, you are more than welcome to keep it right there, just removing the blanket. Give yourself some time to feel it out. Notice if you're quick to judge yourself or to judge your body. And just like we do in the poses, we still ride our way through the rebound. One breath at a time, one moment at a time as everything unfolds. Okay guys, let's bend the knees. Feet can be on the bolster, that's okay. Make your way over to one side. Help yourself up. So from here, we are going to, again, I would advise you to sit on the edge of the folded blanket, if it's there. Instead of sitting on my iPad, I'll bring it a little closer. And sole of the right foot comes to the inner seam of the left thigh. Now, the left leg will just be straight out in front of you, not out to the left, just straight out in front of you. Now, this might be block or it might be bolster. It will probably be very similar to that pose that we just made our way out of. I like to use my block here, and I know that I'm folding forward from the hips and the pelvis. So when I do, my head is reaching to the block. It might just be hanging out in space, or it might be reaching to the bolster or the pillow or another folded blanket. My palms are open, so the back of the hands are just resting on the earth. There's no fingertips grappling for feet to pull me in deeper. There's just an acceptance of where I land, where I can stay, and what I can actually uncover there. Breathing into that back line of the body. Noticing again, where do you feel the breath? Where are you most aware of its journey? Just 5 more breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Okay guys, with the next inhale, gently peeling yourself back to a seat. And just give yourself a couple of moments. I like to still be supported by my fingertips. We're going to come straight into the second side. So when you're ready, just might move your block or bolster out of the way. Take the hands behind you and extend the right leg. Sole of the left foot comes in. If this knee is lifting right up, use a blanket. You just want to prop it and support it. Imagine that there's an invisible thread straight from your chest to your heart down to the earth. Place whatever prop you need there. And when you're ready, you can gently fold. You may feel a really big differentiation in sensation, and it's not a bad thing. Two sides of the body are very different. We have masculine and feminine energy. We have light and dark, sun and moon. We have all of these opposites that come together to create this wholeness of being. And it's natural that we have the tendency to drop into one more than another on a certain day at a certain time. Rather than always trying to categorize, if we can simply just become more aware. Good, guys. Just another 4 breaths here. And the same as what we did on the first side. It's a gradual, very gradual rebuilding of the spine, unfurling of the back body. Maybe you need a couple of moments up top to just feel it all out. Then we're coming down onto our backs and we're making our way into our rebounds. So move all of your props out of the way so that you have a clear space. I quite like to, especially when it's a little colder, place a blanket, the warmth of a blanket, on top of my hips. Remember, if your back body is giving you a lot of feedback and it's uncomfortable, rather than trying to kind of grit your way through the discomfort, instead just bend the knees and notice how when you can elongate the tailbone, the body really responds. Okay, we'll bend the knees. Soles of the feet come to the earth. You can bring the big toes to touch, or you can take the legs hip width or even wider. We're coming into a supine twist here, guys. So arms out wide, big breath in. And drop those bent knees over to the right hand side. If you'd like to place a bolster between your knees, you're more than welcome, or a block, or a blanket. Knees are heavy, upper body is open. There's no tension running through the shoulders. We place the gaze where it feels best. Sometimes it feels great to have the gaze in the opposite direction to the knees. Other times it just doesn't work. Breathing into that center line of the body, the belly, the chest, the sides of the waist. And we'll take a last big breath in here. Full breath out. Let the next inhale draw the knees back through center, and just a few breaths at that center point so that the body softens. And then when you're ready, use the next exhale to drop the knees over to the left. Remember, second side just requires that little bit more awareness. How does my body feel? Am I pushing for something that's not quite available? Can I take it back a notch and find the soft edge? And that's where I want to ride, that soft edge. About 70% of sensation. I can feel it, but I can also feel the unraveling of it. I can follow its journey. Belly and or chest, rising and falling. They're the waves of acceptance that we're tuning into. And the breath is constant. So if ever you feel yourself wandering off, return to the breath. Let it be an anchor. Just 4 more breaths here. And on your next inhale, guys, draw the legs back through center. Take a moment. Notice how the body feels. Elongate the tailbone for me. Does that give you a little bit more space in the back body where there might have been a bit of a catch? And you'll bring yourself down to Shavasana. Now at this point, maybe a bolster comes in underneath the knees, maybe a blanket across the chest or the hips for weight, maybe a blanket across the whole entire body for warmth. Arms lay down by the sides, palms open. And we encourage ourselves to rest for as long as we need, as the body, the mind desires. Until next time, guys, namaste.